Hello, we're back out in the shop. I got to work on this workbench project. Let me just walk through my doorway. I still can't get over this. Got to put a big old slab of steel right here because this is going to be my new welding table. Got to mount that vise down there. It's just sitting all willy-nilly down on the corner. So let's do some reinforcing right here to handle the weight that's going to be on here. And then we're going to step back into here later on in this video and we're going to talk a little bit more about my big picture ideas, what I got going on in here and why I'm cutting this doorway and moving things around and everything. So we'll get into that in a minute, but let's get this work done.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
All right, we got some braces here at the legs to help support the weight of the top that's going to be on here, and we've got an 1/8" shim to go across the whole top because the top is going to be 5/8 thick. That plywood is 3/4 thick, so it's going to make up the difference. And the top from the wood to the steel will be nice and flush. So here comes the fun part. We got to unload this steel plate out of the van. Let me go show you this thing. Feel free to let me know how good of an idea you think this is. Oh, it's fine. Oh man, I want it flipped over though. Dang it. Okay, I do want this end up, but I'm just noticing I got a lot of dross from the plasma cut on the bottom here, so I'm going to grind that off real quick and then we'll kind of slide this closer to being in position. And then I want to take the mill scale off the top if I can, so we're going to try that. Well, I went ahead and switched over to this wheel that does a decent job of removing the mill scale, so we're going to see how it does on this big piece. Oh gosh, look at my face. Oh, it's filthy. Well, we went at it with the angle grinder. We went at it with the belt sander. We got this cleaned up pretty well. Let me show you something that's kind of annoying though. Now you would think that if you were buying a piece of 5/8 plate like this, it'd be flat, but if you look in there, see the light coming through? Now I'm sure this isn't perfectly flat, but let me show you another trick. Now I'm sure this carpenter's square isn't very flat either, but it's flatter than this table. So if we go corner to corner, that's the amount we're talking about, which is probably almost an 1/8 inch, which, it's not great. I wish it was flatter. Should I get this ground? Should I get this Blanchard ground? It's too big to fit in any of my machining. I can't machine this flat. It's too big. Let me wash my face. Well, I washed my face, and then all of a sudden it's a week later. Not sure how that happened. Anyways, I'm not happy with how flat this thing is, so let's try something. All right, now don't laugh, but here's my setup. My van's the heaviest thing I got, so I'm gonna just try and drive on this. I've got it shimmed underneath with some 3/4 inch plywood, so hopefully that pushes that center down a little bit. That quite literally did nothing. While I'm impressed by the strength of this piece of steel, it's time to consider what the actual goals are here. Now, while you're welding, you put a lot of heat into the table that you're working on. Heat makes metal warp. So if the material is real thin, it will warp more, and then your table becomes all wavy. That's not ideal. So that's why I got a 5/8 inch thick piece of steel for this. I wanted it to be able to hold up to the heat from welding. Now, it's not heated at all right now, and it's already warped, so that's frustrating. Another nice thing about having it thick is that when you're welding things, you often end up clamping them down to the table and using the table as a surface that's not going to move. When you're welding things together, they want to, they want to flex and move around, and maybe I'll do a video on that one day, on how when you weld, things want to, as the metal cools, it wants to contract and things kind of move around. So it helps to have a table that you can clamp things to and that you know isn't going to move. So that's another reason for a 5/8 inch thick piece of plate. I can clamp things to it, and I know that it is just not going to budge. But if it's not going to budge from its bent and curved state, that's not a good thing either, because the things that I weld on this are going to end up being not flat or not square, a little bit off. Now, at some point in the future, I see myself maybe drilling and tapping some holes in this so that I can bolt down accessory welding fixtures to this table. So if I have some production things that I want to do multiples of one weldment, I can create a fixture that bolts to this heavy surface, and I can make the fixture become rigid by the fact that it's bolted to this surface. Now, I don't want the surface that my fixture is bolted to be curved, because then my fixture is going to be curved, which is again going to affect the thing that I'm welding together. Basically, if you haven't picked it up by now, I'm talking myself through and convincing myself to just get this Blanchard ground. I got a quote from a local shop. They'll do it for more money than I want to spend, but really not that much money, and I'll forget about it in a month, and it's just what needs to happen. So when they put this on the Blanchard grinder, what I'm worried about is that the magnetic chuck that's going to hold this thing down is just going to flatten it, and then they're going to dust off the top, and then when the magnetic chuck lets go, it's going to spring back up. So I just left a little note here that says it's high in the middle along this line. I don't know if these guys are going to pay attention to this, but I hope so. If possible, please shim under to prevent mag chuck from flattening. Will they pay attention? We'll roll the dice. All right, let's get on with mounting this vise. There we go. Got the vise mounted. Look at this. Super solid. That's awesome. So all I have left is basically going through all this heap of crap, and I'm going to populate the bench, the shelves underneath, and kind of organize things. I'm not going to make you sit through that. So let's move on to the segment that I promised you earlier, and that's, well, I'm going to talk more. All right, dude, what's the plan? Well, as you may remember from previous videos, I also have a CNC mill. This is my CNC mill. It's a 1996 Bridgeport Torque Cut 22. Now, that machine is obviously not here. That machine is sitting at my day job. Reason being, when I bought it, I didn't think that it could fit through this bay door. I now realize that it can fit through that bay door. Now, that means that I want it to fit through the bay door. I want it to sit right where I'm standing right now. Basically, I'm going to be bringing my CNC mill into here, and it's going to be sitting right here. Now, if I would have just left everything the same, it would have basically butted right up against the lathe, which was right there, and then the welding table would have been here, and I would have been standing here operating the CNC. So it was just too tight, which is why I needed to expand into that side of the garage. So basically the fabrication station is going to happen over there, and the CNC or machine shop is going to be in here. I am super excited about this. Okay, but what does that mean for these videos? I've got a lot of work to do, right? I still have a lot of work to do. I already cut this hole in the wall. I'm well on my way, but we gotta supply more electricity to this shop. I got a new air compressor on the way. I got to get rid of this thing. I still have to finish up the workbench, new welding table situation. I got a lot going on. So for the next couple months, next few months probably, my videos are going to be about me getting my shop ready to bring the CNC mill. So this is going to be a long, drawn-out process. And I'm going to have all my babies under the same roof. Oh, I can't wait. All right, I've talked enough. It's time to wrap this up. If you're still watching, if you hung in there through all of this, your payday is here. The first person to comment and says that they made it to this point and reference this in the comments, you're going to get a free coaster. If you haven't seen my CNC machined coasters, you need to check those out. Go to my website, russellmakes.com/store. Also on the screen right now, you're going to see a real pretty shot of them. Yeah, you're going to get a free one. Comment. First person I see comments, you're getting a free one. No, I really do appreciate it, though. Hanging through all this with me. I feel like I'm just blabbering. Next video, we're going to do a little bit more work. We got to get down to work here. So anyways, Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Catch you on the next one.